Hello, it's me again. Corona Walks number 22. Delivering lettuce by rabbit. My name's Edward Borodzicz. I'm a professor of risk and crisis management, and I have been studying this subject for well over 30 years. I've not been doing these talks for a while, and I wanted to have a pause and think. I've also had a problem with my knee, so I haven't been in the woods as much. And I'm out today, and one minute it's sunny and the next minute it's raining. It's changing and changing. And I very conveniently found this shed. So I decided I'd do the video in here. Why have I called today's talk about delivering lettuce by rabbit? Well, very simply, if you have a pile of lettuce and you need to move it somewhere, who are the most ineffective people to put that task into action? Certainly rabbits would not be high on the list. They'd sit around, they'd nibble, they'd wander off, and they might procreate and come back and then nibble some more. We have a big pile of virus out there in the world population. And we have a bunch of rabbits in each country, the governments, that are supposed to be managing this. And I said in one of my earlier videos, you cannot manage this alone. It's an international problem, which means it requires an international solution. It doesn't mean good old Boris, he stole all the vaccine, now we can get everyone injected before the Europeans. It doesn't work like that. Think about the two things that we actually have to manage this virus. We have the vaccine, which doesn't stop you catching it and doesn't stop you passing it on, but it stops you getting sick and it mostly stops you dying. And then we have testing, which identifies where it is in the population. And we haven't been that successful at either, to be honest. Where you can get tested and how easily you can get tested seems to vary enormously from one country to another, from one government to another, even from one area to another. And my problem is with the future development of this virus. What is it going to do next? We actually could be creating the super virus. How? Well, I'm not a biologist, but I think my thinking on this is actually quite sound. Mutations occur randomly. When cells divide, they should divide and be the same as before, but they often mutate and do something different. How frequently they mutate and why they mutate, I couldn't possibly tell you. But clearly, the more times those divisions take place, the more likely there will be a mutation. Which means, if you have 1 million people infected in India, and they're all infected with the Indian variant, the likelihood that that will then mutate into a new super Indian variant is more likely. And the result of that is that we may end up with a variant that penetrates the vaccine. Now, if the vaccine no longer works, we're not where we were a year ago, we're actually in a worse place. We'll have populations all over the world who are desperately tired and fed up with lockdown, want to get out, want to do something, and they won't be able to, because then there'll be this new variant which even the vaccine doesn't work on. And frankly, we don't have many answers to how we would deal with that situation. Now, I'm not saying this is definitely going to happen, but the more millions of cases we have in the world, the more likely it's going to happen. If you get one person passing it on to another, there's a very, very small chance of mutation. If you get 1 million people passing it from one to another, you've got 1 million more times that chance. If it's 10 million and so on, you understand the maths. It's not complicated. My feeling on this is that the rules on patents need to be relaxed, at least on this occasion. Maybe we even need to come up with a compensatory framework or whatever to pay them whatever the drug companies demand they must have, or something. But we need to release the recipes for how you make these vaccines now, so that we can get as much vaccine as quickly as possible into the whole world's population. Vaccinating yourself, but not vaccinating someone else, is a fool's paradise. You're saving yourself in the short term, but endangering yourself to something much worse in the long term. We need to ramp up testing in our populations. Clearly, if every time we find the virus anywhere, we ask that person, please, 10 days, step out, do a lockdown. Make them comfortable, give them what they need, but just keep them out of society for 10 days. We need to identify where there is a virus, but we also need to vaccinate as many people as possible before this virus turns into something else. Because every day we let millions of people infect more millions of people, we are increasing the likelihood of a dangerous mutation that will penetrate the vaccine. It's time to forget all this social class, money, rich country, poor country. And we need to get the rabbits that run our countries to stop nibbling the lettuce and start dealing with the heavy lifting. We need to get vaccine out there. We need to get testing out there. And it's as important to us to help people in India as it is to help people in Kent or in Bavaria or in the Paris locale. By looking after other people, we're actually looking after ourselves. Do you remember how homelessness was a problem in the UK? And suddenly it disappeared because, it could increase infections. It's amazing what we can do when we really need to do it. Money can be found for all kinds of things. Let's use some of those tools that we have. Let's use some of those advantages that we have to kill this virus before it kills us. We need to come out of this. There will be a new normal. There will be a different world at the end of this virus. We will not be the same place. But we need to stop the virus now, wherever it is working in the world. Thank you. I look forward to speaking to you again. It's really good to be back out in the woods, although I'm in this shed, but you can see the sun starting to shine in. I think the rain has stopped and I can continue with today's walk. Bye everyone.